Right, sit down comfortably on your mat or wherever you've set up for yourself, your practice, and find your connection with your sit bones and the floor. And you'll know when that happens because you just feel this kind of instant relaxing into being where you are. Close your eyes if you need to. You need to just sort of shut out the outside world for a moment while you focus on starting to give yourself some really good attention, just for a short space of time in your day. And it's amazing, it makes you so much more effective the rest of the day. So thinking about your sacrum and the lower part of your back, and just relaxing, just softening. And at the same time, trying to make a little space between each vertebra and straightening up a tiny bit. And we want some relaxation in the thighs still. So if you're starting to grab onto the floor with your feet or press in or feel that you're constricting all the muscles in your legs, just let them relax a little bit. There's a fine balance between doing the work that we want to do in the back, giving it our attention and not bringing in tension into the rest of the body. So attention versus tension. Taking a nice deep breath. But this time as you breathe in, shrug your shoulders up. And as you breathe out, just let them go. So breathing in, take your shoulders up. As you breathe out, let them go. As you breathe in, taking your shoulders up, but extending through the back a little bit more. And let go of the shoulders. Keep the length in the back. And another breath in. Bringing that length into the neck, into the crown of the head, lifting up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, letting everything go apart from that point in the crown of your head, which is reaching up towards the sky. And now as you take some nice easy breaths in and out, think about moving your sternum slightly up and out, just by a couple of centimeters, millimeters, depends on how you're sitting already. So trying to move your sternum without making too much of a curve in your back. So opening up across the chest, taking your shoulder blades towards each other a little bit. Small movements here, but I think if you focus and you're concentrating on yourself, you'll notice the changes. So we have a nice open, wide chest, long in the back, lifting up through the crown of the head, relaxing the muscles in the thighs and the arms. Hands are just resting on your knees or your thighs, and a little bit of a lift in the chin as well to get some length in the front of the body from the sternum up through the throat. Now breathing in and out, breathe in through your nostrils and out through your mouth. And let's give that breath a little bit more focus by when you're breathing in, noticing the quality of the air as it goes in through your nostrils. And when you're breathing out, breathe out through your mouth with slightly pursed lips, as if you're blowing out a candle. When you breathe in, noticing how much bigger, how much taller, how much more space you need to take up in the chest, and maybe even in the sides of your body. And as you breathe out, trying to keep the posture and just letting go of the breath. Easy breaths. Take a couple here and set your intention for your practice for today. What is it that you would like to get out of your practice? Just for yourself for today, whatever comes to mind. So we're going to start moving the body with the breath. So as you breathe in next time, take your arms up. You can open your eyes if you want to. It's easier. So breathing in. And then breathing out, taking your arms out to the side in a wide arc. Try and time it so the breath moves solely with that movement, entirely with that movement. So in to come up and out to the sides. Taking your arms out as far away from you as you can. One more. Okay, Eli, we need to do one more. I want you to think this time about that movement coming from your shoulder socket. So bringing your hands as close together as you can, joining your shoulders towards each other as you breathe in. And as you come up, take your shoulders wide and back. So we're adding on, the movement becomes more circular. So taking the arms in and up and round. Think about lifting your chest, sending your chest forward as you breathe out. And this time it is one last one. In, up, circle as far back as you can, sending your chest forward, shoulder blades towards each other. Squeeze your shoulder blades and relax. There we go. Just decided to change that movement. And we're going to walk the hands forward. So take your hands to the floor, to the mat in front of you, and just slowly walk or slide them forward. And let your body follow. Drop your head, drop your neck. Nice, relax, rest. And a little bit of a forward bend here. So a little bit of extra nourishment. And a little bit of waking up in the face and head. Allow your neck to just drop, relax, chin to chest. And then you're going to come back to sitting, then gently dragging your hands back. We're going to come into waking up the feet. And we're going to do this seated today. We have a very gentle practice today. It's cold, it's a bit dark, it's a bit grim. And we're going to be gentle and kind. So bringing the toes back towards you, letting your feet spread out as much as possible. So send your heels away as much as you possibly can. Really firmly push them away. And bringing your toes back towards your face. Still keeping that length in the spine if you can. Lifting the crown of your head up towards the sky. Keep that tension on. Notice that your calves are probably starting to get a bit tired. Your shins might be getting a bit tired. Never mind, keep that pressure on. Keep those toes lifting. See if you can spread your toes away from each other. It's much easier to spread the fingers away from each other than it is to bring your toes apart from each other. So give it a little try. No doubt with this cold weather, they'll be encased in socks or shoes or boots or something for the rest of the day. So a little bit of a stretch. And relax. We held that for quite some time. Well done. So we're going to take the toes away now. So pointing your toes as if you're trying to get your toes to touch the mat, touch the floor. Feeling that lovely stretch all the way across the front of your ankles. If you start getting a little bit of a cramp, ease off, give yourself a little bit of a wiggle, and there it goes, there's the cramp. And then come back when you can. Still sitting up tall, still got that lovely length in your head and neck. Stretch, 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 stretch. Hopefully you're moving your toes so intensely over there that your knees have even come off the mat. You might just be sit bones and heels, and relax before we completely get cramp. And this time we are taking the feet out to the side. So think about how that feels in your hips. You should be able to feel that movement all the way up here. Keep your ankles together. We'll do some wide leg pose later. But for now, let's just keep the heels and ankles close to each other. Trying to take the feet out to the sides, using all the muscles in your legs here and not sacrificing that length in the spine. This one, it's where everything wants to give up in the back. You want to kind of fold over and help this movement happening in the legs. Try and let the legs do it by themselves. I'm not pressing or pushing on my legs, just resting my hands. Push, 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 push. Squeeze. You should be feeling that in your inner thighs, outer thighs. Maybe even bringing the glutes in and release. Take a breath and let's put the toes together and send the heels out. This one might be much easier. So now we've got that internal rotation going on with the hips. So yes, we're moving the feet, but actually this movement is doing a lot all the way down your legs. So knees, hips, taking your toes down towards the mat. Take a breath, hold, keep that tension, and release. Just give them a little bit of a wiggle, side to side. So bringing your right foot up now. Take your right foot up, and if you can place it on your left thigh, place it on your left thigh. If not, just pop it on the floor, pressing into your left thigh. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? So we've got the heel off the floor if you can, and we're just going to press down on that knee. So we've got a little bit of a stretch happening in the hip now. So doing a lot of intense work on the hips and all just sitting. It's amazing. So slightly pulling in with your left hand on your right foot and pressing down and away with the right hand. So my knees are not actually on the floor, it's just moving down towards the floor. And this might feel quite intense in your hip. If it feels really too intense, ease off a little. And if you have your foot on the floor, then you are just pressing away, holding onto the ankle, and then still pressing away with the right hand. So pushing that knee down. Can you feel an opening up in your hip? Can you feel sensation in the back of your hip, in the front, in the side? What's going on in that hip socket? See if you can identify where the stretch is happening and where there's any discomfort or feeling of a little bit being stuck. Hopefully there's no feeling stuck. And hopefully if there is a little bit of stuck, then you're unsticking now. So that's good. And let's release. Bring that right knee up. So we're going to wrap our hands around, lift the leg off. And we're just going to do lovely circles here, small circles. And think about that coming from the hip. We will repeat this when we're standing up. So if you don't feel like it's doing much, don't worry, it is. You're setting yourself up for some good range of movement later on. There we go. That's enough. Let's swap legs. So right foot goes down and out, left foot comes up, and do the same on this side as you did on the other side. Even if you have, a vastly different range of movement on one side to the other. Try and not, don't overextend on the side that is already easily overextending. Try and keep that balance. So I don't know about you, but I've just managed to slouch there. So think about sending your sternum up and out, and that always helps that little lift. And again, pressing down, thinking about the hip socket, thinking about the thigh bone, thinking about the head of the femur. Enormous bone. And so many little connections at the top of that bone going up, connecting your leg to your body. So we're waking some of those up, giving them a little stretch, increasing blood flow, getting rid of toxins by helping the lymph flow a little better as well. So a lot of little things going on here. And again, if this isn't comfortable, of course, come into having your foot on the floor, and you'll still get a stretch. You'll still get that movement happening, and you'll still be making things move around, which is what we want. And let's release. I'm going to bring that leg up again. Or not again, but the same movement again, different leg. And we're just circling in to the hip joint. Small movement. Go both ways. There we go. Let's take both feet in. Baddha Konasana. So we should be really ready for this after stretching out with the last asana. Sitting up tall, folding forward, easing off. Have a little play, be dynamic with this. Maybe even close your eyes and think about what you feel like you need to do. When you start tuning into your body, you automatically find yourself moving and pressing into the stretch that you feel you need. And as you get to do more and more yoga and you get more and more tuned in with your body, you notice so much quicker when things are a little bit off. And I think you learn to pay more attention as well. So pressing in, moving into the stretch, wherever that stretch is for you, because we're all going to be different. We all slept differently, got different proportions. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're going to come from here up into a squat. So however that works for you. Come into a squat and let's come into Malasana. So taking your knees wide, let's have a little bit of movement here. So we've nicely warmed up those ankles. There should be lots of movement in them. So knees coming down to the mat, they don't need to touch, just heading down. And again, moving through the hips. So really hippie practice today. Okay, so let's come into the center. And taking your body long and low in between those thighs, and then the arms come around and tuck in. So if you can hold on to your thighs, let your head drop forward, and think about, while we're in this posture, let's do a little bit of pelvic floor work. We shouldn't do too much pelvic floor exercising. Too much is as bad as too little. So think about very gently tensing all the muscles from front to back. You start gently squeezing the front, middle, and all the way to the back, as if you were just sliding from the front side of the body to the back. Keep breathing. And then let's take the hands to the floor. Let's come into downward facing dog. I'm going to turn sideways and bring yourself into your down dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Think about spreading out your hands and fingers. Lifting from your wrists. Keeping your shoulders wide. Releasing head and neck. Complete relaxation in your head, neck, and face. It's head, neck, and face holiday at the moment in downward facing dog. Think about opening up under your arms, sending your sit bones up towards the ceiling, heels down towards the mat, and pressing into your fingertips as well as the palms of your hand. It's almost as if you're slightly grabbing the floor. Sending your hips up towards the ceiling. And then looking forward between your hands, stepping your right foot forward. Step your right foot forward. Take your back knee into a bit of a low lunge. Come up. Take your arms up. And then just sink as much as you can, sinking down, keeping that back leg long. So all of those lovely stretches that we've just been doing in the hips, this is really intensifying that stretch and bringing in some strength into it as well. Well done. Arms are up nice and long, tips of the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then come up to standing. Take your hands down towards that extended right foot. Adjust if you need to, and bringing the head down, forehead to knee. Keeping your balance here if you can. If it's right for you for today, it might not be right for me today. Bring your hands together behind your back. Whoops. And clasping your hands together, you can send them away and up. Think about straightening that right leg, front leg. This is an intense posture. Don't worry if it's not feeling very easy, it isn't. And then bringing your hands down either side of that extended right leg. We're going to walk around. So let's walk over to the other side, all the way around. So we're starting off with our pyramid. So find your balance. Take your hands behind you if that worked for you last time. Forehead towards the knee. Nice and strong. Well done. And then let's release. Bend that front leg, left leg bends. Come all the way up. Arms are coming up. And then let's come down, taking that back leg into a nice long, low lunge. We're in a we've come into a warrior. And breathe, think about what's happening in that hip. Opening up here, all the way along the left. Opening up, Squeezing that left thigh, being strong in that hip. And then hands come down. Bring yourself into a wide leg. Let's come into a triangle here. Take your arms nice and wide. Breathe them out to the sides. And then looking over to the right. Slide over. And pop down. Take your toes out to point to the narrow end of your mat. And if it works for you, if your neck, look up. Otherwise, look forward. So we're opening up under the arm. So left arm up to the ceiling. Left side of your body stretching and opening. Don't let your bum stick out here. Squeeze your glutes a little. And we're going to lift. So we're going to lift up and come out, come over to the other side. So this time I remember to tell you to move your toes first. So toes go out to the narrow end of the mat on the left side. And then we're going to slide and tilt all the way down. Well done. Lift up. Long. So lots of space between your arms. So if you're trying to demonstrate that you've caught the biggest fish in the world. And again, looking up if it works. If you start to feel a pinch in your neck, just look forward. So using that left hand, so having your hand pressing just gently on the inside of your leg helps you keep your alignment. A little alignment trick. So you want to be in a straight line from the top hand to the bottom hand. Think about just gently hugging your belly in towards your spine. And then we're going to lift. So bring attention to the right hand, lifting up to come out. Well done. Take your hands to your hips, and of course, Prasarita Padottanasana, because we are here and because it's such a good posture. So hinging from the hips, so use your hands to tilt yourself forward, sending your bottom out behind you. Back straight as you can possibly get it, and lifting your kneecaps. So don't let your knees be completely locked. Breathe. We're only halfway. Think about what that is feeling like for you in the inner thigh, in the backs of your thighs, maybe even in your calves. Pressing down into your feet. And then you're going to come up. So use that strength in your legs. Try not to lock the knees if you can. Very difficult not to do that here. Don't come all the way up. So let's bring the legs in. Step or jump. So right leg, let's go with the right leg. Got disappearing clothes today. Left leg, nice and firm. Good connection with the ground. Think about the sole of your foot briefly. And then we're going to lift up. So take the right knee up. We're going to hold just under your thigh. So we're just holding here. I've got no balance today. This is going to be fun. And keeping that lovely length that you got in the spine right at the beginning. Crown of the head lifting up, neck long, think elegant. And your left hand, just have it somewhere, anywhere for balance. So depending on where works for you, we're going to take the leg out to the side. So I'm not using my hand at all, really. It's just there. I want all of that movement to come, all of that power to come from your hip, from your thigh, and from all the muscles So it's your psoas bundle of muscles there. And the builders have started banging next door. I think they might have forgotten it's Tuesday morning. So out a little further if you can. Squeeze. And the challenge is to not let your body go with the leg. So only leg moving. Right leg, solo activity. If you're feeling wobbly, find something to hang on to or to just grab hold of. And with this posture, it's quite easy to want to lean over to the left. Try and see if you can keep very upright and no lean. Okay, we're going to let go now. Keep the leg out. Bring your hands back to your tummy. And then very slowly moving that leg back in. Solo enterprise here for the leg. And down. Got a bit of a tired hip? I have. Focus on the right foot now. Pressing down into the mat. Giving it a bit of a roll and a bit of a rock. And then bringing that left leg up. And again, wobbling away. The hand is just there kind of for company, not for anything else. So let's slowly move out to the side, trying to keep the body still. Still as in not moving at all, but not moving out of alignment. If that makes sense. And again, keeping the sternum lifted, back long. Well done. Well done. Take another deep breath here. Think about hugging your belly gently in towards your spine. Can't talk and do this at the same time. And release. And then very gently bringing your leg back into the center and lowering. I don't know about you, but how do you feel a bit tied around the hips now? Let's hope so. That's what we're looking for. Good workout. So hands to your lower back. We won't come into camel today because we're just going to keep off knees today. So put your hands into your lower back. So wrists up, fingers down, elbows moving in towards each other. And we're going to lift the sternum and come into a little bit of a back bend, supported back bend. We want to be feeling a stretch here. So we've just had our legs up. We've had all of this compressing and tight, and now we want to release. So use your hands, pressing gently forward. Come as far back as works for you. Don't forget to breathe. If you're comfortable to drop your head back, drop your head back. Bend your knees. All right, so think about that stretch coming really across the fronts of your hips. I don't know what's going to be comfortable for you, so be safe, do what works. And then when you're ready, gently coming back out and folding forward. Keep your hands up on your hips, clasp your hands together behind your back. And once again, let's send them out and up. This helps to open up the chest, and it also helps to wake up the shoulder blades. Squeeze some muscles in the back that might be having a little sleep. And allow yourself to drop, fold forward easily and comfortably in just a nice gentle forward bend. Release your hands, bring them all the way around and down and wrap them around each other, and let that weight and the weight of your head and neck gently unbend your back from your back bend. So we're just in a forward bend. So back bend, forward bend. And a little bit of an inversion. An opportunity for some nice, deep, easy breaths here. And then we're going to take the hands to the mat, walk them forward, come into our downward facing dog. Find your perfect posture here. Take the time to set yourself up, whichever way you like to do it. Do you like to start with your heels? Do you like to start with your wrists? I get bored doing the same thing all the time, so it's just wherever happens to come to my attention. And so wrists, pressing into the fingers, lifting away from the wrists, keeping the shoulders broad, keeping the back long, nice long line all the way from wrists to sit bones, tilting the sit bones higher up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the backs of the legs, heels down towards the mat, relaxed jaw, relaxed face. And looking forward to your hands, come into a plank. Set yourself up so that your hands are underneath your shoulders. Shoulders are broad. Keep your shoulders very wide here. Try to keep your hips level. So we don't want to have your bum sticking up. And we also don't want to have a little bit of a swoopy thing going on. So nice straight from the back of your head to heels. We're going to rock a little now. So we woke up the heels nicely in the beginning. Let's bring in some more movement into the heels now. So sending yourself forward also helps with the wrists, and then coming backwards. Use your breath. In to come forwards, out to go back. In and out. Go at your own pace. 3 more. Come on, you can do this. Think how strong you are in your shoulders now. And 1 more. Bring your knees down to the mat. And then the rest of you as well. Bring everything down to the mat. Bring yourself into Makara. Let your head rest on your forearms. Take a breath. So half bow. Bend your leg, whichever one you want. Free choice. Take the same hand, same leg, and find each other. So try to keep your shoulder facing forward and not opening out to the side. So you want that length in the arm. You're not bending your elbow here. Still some support with your other arm. And it's half a makara. It's got half a crocodile and half a bow. Sounds interesting. And use your hand to pull against your foot and use your foot to pull back against your hand. And hopefully that's going to give you a little bit of lift and we can get that thigh off the mat, whichever side it is you've decided to go with. So thigh off the mat, chest off the mat. And look forward and push. So keep lifting. Lift a little higher. Opening up under the arm, across the shoulders. We're really mostly on one side. And bring that leg back, arm back, release, and swap sides. So same hand, same leg. And we're coming into half a bow. So lifting off, keeping everything else straight. So head and neck still in the central position. Squeeze your glutes, push your hip bones down into the mat. Feel that tension in the thigh and release. Bring yourself back to Makara, swap arms. If you remember which one was up last time, send it to the bottom. Okay, so we're going to come into a full bow, Dhanurasana. But if you wish to do the same again, one side and then the other, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, both feet, both hands, hold on. This is like junior kindergarten play gym time. Used to love doing this. So lift up, press, push, pull, push me, pull you. Any do little fans. So lift, 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 squeeze your glutes. Feel that beautiful opening across the chest. Hold. Can you lift a little higher? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back down. And let's come into our third makara. Okay, one last asana on our fronts, I think. Bringing your elbows in. Come up onto your forearms. And coming into Sphinx. So pulling your elbows in towards your body, or in kind of in line with your body, not in towards the middle of your body, as if you wanted to slide your arms down the sides of your body. Send your shoulders wide, shoulder blades towards each other, and lift your sternum forward. So I want you to feel as if you've got a really good connection with the mat, and you're trying to unglue yourself and slide your elbows down towards your hips. There's no movement, it's just keeping everything under some tension. Lots of tension in the backs of your upper arms. Good for tightening up, strengthening some of those little muscles in the back there. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. This is quite intense. And release. Send yourself back briefly into Balasana if you can. If Balasana doesn't work for you today, find another relaxed posture. Maybe you're in Paschimottanasana. And rolling to come up. Not to kneeling. And let's take the hands behind, legs out in front. Push into the shoulders and round to come up. Sitting up nice and tall, inhale your arms up. And let's exhale to fold forward and come into Paschimottanasana. So we have been keeping the back straight and long a lot in this practice today. And now we're going to encourage all those muscles to completely relax and soften and round and make space between the vertebrae in a different kind of way. So with every breath, a little bit of length as you go in with the breath and a little bit more extension as you breathe out. Take your time to settle into this asana. It's very important. We'll do 10 breaths. So a round of a breath is an in and an out breath. Wherever you feel restriction or tension, take your breath to that area and think about which muscles you have got contracting and whether you can allow them to relax. Maybe you've got muscles around your knees that are just holding on and they don't need to.
How are we doing with that counted breath? Keep going. Try and inhale and exhale as fully as you can. We're moving into the final part of our practice, so we're starting to relax and slow down and not think about strength, but more thinking about breathing well and finding that space and ease. If you allow yourself the time and the space, your body will naturally start to open up and move and release. Okay, last couple of breaths here. Start to slowly come back, breath by breath. And we're going to come down into lying on our mats because we need to do a little bit of work here on reversing that stretch. So bend your knees, bring your hips up, with your heels in, pressing into the floor, coming into a bridge. It's also good counter pose for the Dhanurasana that we did before. Not really a counter pose, but same movement really, just a variation on. So squeezing your glutes here, squeeze them really tight to be able to lift a little higher. If you feel like coming onto toes, come onto toes to press up. Lengthen through your neck. Bring your chin a little bit towards your chest. And the back of the neck needs to be long here. If you're up on toes, come back down. Squeezing your glutes. And slowly bringing your spine back down towards the ground. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug and rock from side to side. But pressing your back into the mat. And try and get as much of your back onto the mat as possible. Make that movement very slow. Going over from one side to the other. And keeping the right thigh in, release your left leg and come into wind releasing posture. So keep your elbows low, keep that connection between your thigh and your torso as you start to take your left foot down to the ground. So do the leading with your heel, bringing your toes slightly in towards your calf, towards your face. So very slow with control. Use your breath. Keep your focus on your breath. Think about lengthening that left leg as you pull the right into your chest, trying to get a nice connection between your right thigh and your belly. You want as much compression in that right groin as we possibly can. And we're opening up to the left. So bringing your leg all the way down, almost to the mat, but not quite. And then when you get to sort of floating around the ground, start to come back up again. Like the pressure that puts on your sacrum, the very lower part of your back. Think about trying to press your lower back towards the mat. Don't worry if you haven't got any contact there. Think about how much strength you're using in that leg, just to slowly bring it all the way up. Well done. You're doing a great job. Taking it slow and steady. And when you come all the way up, assuming you're all the way up, have a little swap. So taking your right leg up, left knee comes in, nice and tight. And then we start that slow, steady progress all the way down towards the mat. Nice and slow, down you go. Keep that breath work in focus, so slow and steady and deep breaths. About trying to get as much of your chest and lungs being used with each breath as possible. And when you've got that foot almost to the ground, start that steady progress back up again. Well done, nice and strong. It gets to a certain point and that leg starts feeling really heavy, doesn't it? Yeah, well done. Just keep going a little bit at a time. And hold your breath. And then your leg comes all the way back up. Bring that one in for a hug too. So both legs in for a nice hug. Bit of a quicker rock from side to side now. And let's come into a twist. Final twist to finish off. Arms wide, legs over to the right, head over to the left. Nice big twist. And then bring your head back to center, knees back to center, and over to the other side. Well done. And bring your head back to center. Knees come back in. Give yourself another hug. Why not? Remind yourself of your sankalpa for today, your intention for your practice, for what you want more of in your life. Bring yourself into a nice big shavasana. Take your space. Make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And with every inhalation, you're taking in light and warmth and energy and all that you need more of in your life. And with every out breath, you're letting go and releasing and making space for more of what you do need and want. So I will leave you in your shavasana. Relax, rest.
Allow all of your energies to settle. Allow everything to go back to feeling completely rested and at peace. Allow each part of your body to come into a state of rest and relaxation. And thank you for joining me on the mat. Thank you for joining you on the mat. And stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need to. And I will see you next week.